All right. It's Friday.
And we're fired up.
And we're live.
We are live.
And we got company.
Ooh.
What up?
What's going on? Thanks
What's up, Tyler? Give us a little intro there, Wayne.
Tyler is the man, the myth, the legend. So
I wouldn't go that far.
no, he is. So I'm gonna let you unhumbly brag about yourself. But here's what I love about this man. My favorite thing about you is that you are. So he's wildly coachable. So I love coaching him because I'm like, hey, have you thought about this? And instead of him being like, no, that's a dumb idea, right? Even if maybe it is, but he'll at least consider it. You know what I mean? And then here's my favorite thing about him is he'll take massive action. And I think it's one of the things that separates him from everybody else is I'm like, hey, we got to redo this. And then literally a week later when we're on our next coaching call, he's actually done it, right? So I think that's one of the things that separates you. But I'll let you unhumbly brag on yourself. Who are you, and what do you think separates you from everybody else?
Yeah, so obviously he already said my name. My name's Tyler Kreis, broker and owner of TK Realty, a candy store over in Broken Bow and soon to be Weatherford. But I don't really know what necessarily separates myself other than
I just wake up sexy and there we go. Hello.
No, it's I'm willing to put in the work, but it's also I try to stay nimble to where I can change.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's why I came to you. I was like, hey, help me figure out what the hell to do when I open a brokerage.
Right.
And then we got a year in it and you're like, you're kind of a brokerage. Let's do some things. And it's just being coached. I mean, I grew up playing sports, so I would say I was not coachable when I was younger.
Right.
But now I am.
Yeah.
So it works.
So, Wayne, I'm curious.
Awesome.
What do you think are, like, I like this. Okay, so we actually have coach, player.
Yes.
And, whatever. But I get to be the dumb guy in the stands. I'm in the bleachers.
Yeah, there
so,
you
like,
go.
what do you think is the hallmark of someone that's coachable?
I think someone who's coachable is someone who it doesn't mean like confident, right? And I think sometimes people think that, you have to be unconfident or unsure to like need a coach, right? I think like Tyler is very confident. He's very aware and he's very good at what he does. Yet he's open to other perspectives. I think he's open to seeing it other ways. And one of the cool things is he realizes that learning it all on your own is the dumbest way to do it, right?
And the most expensive.
Like if I can collapse time, like people are all the time like, you don't need a coach, just go on YouTube. And I'm like, kind of. If you had 700 years to learn it. Right? Like you can probably figure it out. You can probably watch 500 videos and then like narrow it down to the one that actually helps you. And I think that a lot of jobs time as a coach, like my job is kind of to curate. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I can go to Tyler and be like, hey, here's the 20 books. Like ignore 18 and a half of these. Here's the one that would actually help you. Right? So sometimes my job is kind of curation, not, if that makes sense, not like to just blow his mind every time.
The arbiter of information.
Yeah. And I think it's being open to awareness. And I think one of the great things about coaching is sometimes just like having a place where you can go. It would be interesting to see your take on this. Like having a place once a week to go and just like reflect in a sense, like just to take a second and go like, what's working, what's not working.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the reflection is one, and then just the steady accountability from somebody that, one, you are paying, but then two, that you do look up to, right?
Yeah,
so like you said, here's 20 books, but here you only need 1.5 of them. Coaching is essentially like the Cliff Notes
100%
for success.
Yes,
so it just cuts through the BS and gets you a clear path if you're willing to see it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now I'm curious with Tyler. Was it a situation where you just woke up and you were willing and you were like, man, I need some coaching? Or is it like, holy shit, what am I doing? Because a lot of times for me, learned behavior, as far as like asking for help, telling on yourself, or any of the things that would, for me, they've all been born out of being in recovery.
Right.
But the idea of, well, I'm just going to soldier on over here, and it's like, that certainly looks like a cliff. But
Rick likes to ask for help when he's right about on the ground. You know what I mean? Most people are like looking for a coach when the plane's going up. Rick's like, hey, I'm about 30 feet from this son of a gun. Like maybe I should like reach out.
Like Thelma and Louise off like just as the last set of tires get airborne.
Yes.
That's great. So I really just did it for a career change. I was a solo agent from the time I was licensed until I got my broker's license. At the time I got my license, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be just Tyler the broker or if I'm going to have people.
Yeah.
And I started talking to pretty successful teams and other boutique brokers, and one thing they all had in common was they all had a coach.
Yeah.
In some way, form, or fashion. Some are coaching like programs to where they just fit you in a box.
Yeah. Sure.
And I'm 6'5". I don't fit in any box.
True.
And so,
dude, we need like him and Nick.
I hug him and I'm like, hey, what's up?
I just need
Nick,
him and Nick Good to just walk around with me all the
Nick,
time.
Nick and I are pretty big, but like, so I went on a search. I was like, okay, well, I need a coach. I need a coach who's willing to not just shove me in a box and be like, hey, dude, it's not working because you didn't fit in my box. I'm like, well, that doesn't really do it for me, but it works for some people. Yeah. And so I got introduced to Wayne through a good friend of mine, Kara, and rest is history. Yeah. So I've been pretty fortunate.
Well, and then you also took like a leadership role in just everyday work life with, because you're also the Young Professionals Network chairman.
Yeah. Oh, it's hard to talk about yourself, but yes, I am the chair over at MetroTex, and that was really just when I went into coaching. When I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with Wayne, I put just a commitment to be vulnerable. Yeah. For like that was 2023 or 2022. I was just like, if there's an opportunity, I'm not gonna say no to, even if it was something that my whole life I'd be like. Volunteering, like there's no way. So yeah, when Ashley Gentry called me last year, I was like, well, I said I was going to say yes. And it's probably one of the better decisions I've made. It's been a lot of fun getting to learn what an association actually plays in the daily role of a broker and a realtor. Because when you're just a solo agent and you're just blowing and going, you have no clue.
Oh yeah. And there's really no reason to have a clue. That's one of the things that a lot of folks, I think, don't think about, or they kind of drive right past. Yeah. Where it's like, oh yeah, there's all that stuff, or there's those guys that I pay the dues to, or
it's the gym membership that you never go to, right? It's you signed up on January 1st and you didn't go after the 13th,
and they're still debiting the account. 18 months later.
Yeah, they're the ones that make you call in and talk for an hour about why you can't cancel it. But once you actually get involved and you see the education level, the people that you get to network with and meet, it's a game changer. Yeah. So, it's been pretty fun. Thank you for bringing that one up.
So should we? Okay, so now that we've made him sufficiently uncomfortable,
I like it. I like it.
Should we? And then we'll get another double perspective.
Yes.
We'll get the coach and then the player.
We go. Okay. All right.
Okay. So from the Hero Nation at large. What is one piece of advice you found yourself repeating more and more frequently in 2024?
Ooh.
And why?
Ooh, that's a good one. When I stare at you, I'm just deflecting to give me time to think, just to be clear. I'm not being polite. I'm not like, no, you go first. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to say, so game on.
I mean, for me, it was Wayne came out to Southlake and got in front of a bunch of realtors for me with a title company earlier this year when the first NAR settlement came out and people were freaking out. And he did just a clear line. Resentment and resistance will be the death of your business. I say that on a weekly basis when I'm encountering, whether it's I'm in another mastermind or a networking group, or even my agents are frustrated about changes. And it's like, hey, resentment and resistance will be the death of you. Yep. Get over it, move on, let's go.
Nice.
So that's so the best line that you've said. This year, that's so good that I can say on here.
Some of them are for the after show. No, that's so good. And I heard it from one of my coaches. And one of the things my coach said, kind of a take on that, was he said you can oppose or you can compose. Right? And kind of you said, like, there's so many people that are in resistance and resentment. I hate the DOJ, and, buyers just are terrible, whatever it is, right? And it's like, no, you can oppose or you can compose. And there's so many people right now that are opposing, and they're stuck in this, like, I shouldn't have to. When you hear yourself saying, like, I shouldn't, resisting, like, where you're doing all that, everybody else is just like, all right, what do I need? I am composing, right? What's the new way to work with buyers? What's the new way? Like, and that's in all these different areas, right? Even in business, right? It's like, we're looking at a couple of things in your business, it's like, ooh, and you can either oppose it or you could compose. And even recently, like, you compose some new things to allow you to carry forward. And I think that's so huge. So I think there's this other, the second thing I've said a lot this year is, like, it all works if you work it. Meaning, there's 100 different ways to do it. Do podcast work? Yes. Does door-to-door work? Yes. Does YouTube work? Yeah. Like, it all freaking works. Does cold calling expires work? Yeah. Like,
how many times did you try to turn me into a cold caller?
I think 0.
It was on our first few calls, and I was like, he's like, all right, so did you make your contacts? I'm like, I went to lunch and networked with some fun people and picked up business. He's like, yeah, I think you need to just do more of that. I'm like, because I am very good business. This is awesome. I like this, but if we were over the phone, I'd be tanking. Yeah, and it's just I'm like, I like in person.
It's so funny. It's like, hey, all these things, like, we're just never going to do that. Let's just throw that away. And
And we were okay, so I was doing the show with Ashley and Michelle, and it was like Michelle had this super like just thoughtful and just insightful and masterfully crafted like strategy and list. And I'm like, I'll just put all of that whole hog on the list of shit I'm never gonna do. Because it's like it's like what Tyler was saying. Once I learned how I was wired, it's like I eat one meal a day because I will never. If I live to be 1,000, I will never wake up and go to the gym. Never. And it's like as you get older, it's like, oh man, why does that? It's like, okay, so I don't need any more of that. But it's the awareness thing, and it's like, okay, I'm never gonna cold call. I'm never going to be the guy who's hammer, because like some people like smiling and dialing,
But like you have to be, and why like Wayne so much and what they do is you have to embrace the agents who do a great job at it.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there's that one real estate, especially, is not one size fits all. I don't really think any business is. You can have excellent people who come into an organization that just get pushed out.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, well, get in our organizational box. It's like, the best people don't fit in boxes.
Right.
And so like I have an agent who he dials for dollars, 40 contacts a day, and he's going to do 8 to 10 million this year. And that's his thing.
Yeah.
But like where he doesn't get it yet is he doesn't get the referrals that just come to him from his neighbors or family or friends.
It's kind of earning the right to do some of the other stuff.
But it works for him.
Well, and here's why I think your agents do so well, because I think you coach kind of similarly than I do, in the sense of
wonder
like,
why.
But I think coaching is a co-dance. Like I think it's something you do with someone.
You have to have a willing participant.
And there's a lot of coaching you know what I mean? It's part. So you can't coach. I don't believe. Yeah, go give a keynote, but like don't call that coaching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I think coaching is a co-dance, but part of the responsibility is on the coach, but the other part of the responsibility is on the person. Like it was up to him to be like, nope, didn't do it. Nope, I suck at that. Nope, probably never doing this, right? Like it was up to him to be honest with me in that level, right? And I think that's what sometimes, I don't need a client, and you don't need a person in your brokerage just telling you what you want to hear.
Right.
Like we need the honesty piece.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it comes into, and those are the people that thrive.
And trying to find the honest person who is truly vulnerable to be like, hey, I tried it and it just didn't work. I get that it was working for you, it doesn't work for me, and having the conversation on, well, let's figure out what the heck does work for you.
Yeah.
I don't know if this came from you or it might have came from my buddy Logan, but
it was either me or Abraham Lincoln. I'm not sure which. I'm not sure which one. Yeah,
It was
it's John Maxwell or Wayne Salmans. I'm not sure. It's
Wayne or Socrates.
So my goal is always to niche down somebody's business and go deep. So we just call it riches are in the riches are in the niches bitches.
Amen.
And riches are in the niches bitches.
Yes,
and that
absolutely.
it just simplifies the business. Real estate is so easy in particular to go here. Oh, on Instagram, this was working. Oh, I purchased this program. It was here. But if you're not good at all of it.
And here's why I think that is. I think there's riches in lots of different things. But I think it allows someone to hone their focus. Right, like it allows them you could succeed at these three different things in a sense if you were superhuman and whatever else. But the reality is we're phenomenal when we focus in and we hone in and we go, I'm going to be the best at this thing, and you go get great at that. Then you can add stuff on down the road if you want to. But I think that's such a key piece is like if you can hone, it's like a magnifying glass, right? If you're just outside on a hot day, it can be real hot. But if you grab a magnifying glass, you can start a fire, right? In Texas, we can start fires without them because it's freaking warm, right? But it's like what you're saying is like you give people the magnifying glass, and you also give people permission to say no to a lot of stuff because they're hearing it all day long, right? I should have this. I should have this. I should have this. I should, right? It's like
I think that is, again, for me, all of this is learned behavior. Just like it turns out I could take ass whooping, so it's like I just do like a bunch of stuff the wrong way, and then over time you figure out if you have the awareness to be like but one of the things was the idea of, okay, I'm doing this, it isn't working, but I don't want to tell anybody that it isn't working, so I'm just going to keep going. And then the idea of the specializing, so like my luxury clients where they have this ability to, like, something that I would never think in a million years, just rando conversations like with somebody, and it turns out that their cousin's nephew's neighbor's uncle or whatever has some sort of small tether in common, and then the next thing you know, that it's like, oh, they're calling. It's a listing. It's a this. It's a that. And that begat this. And then that begat. So like what you were talking about, those in-person things where you would never get that smiling and dialing. But most people are so afraid to break out and to be vulnerable. That was really kind of the thought. My thought was, it got easier for me whenever I started to be like, I don't know, dude. You know, I'm just making this up as I go.
Well, also put yourself in that room, right? Like we have a fight club we're in, and in fight
we're not
club,
supposed to talk about it.
Yeah, we're not giving the real name, but in our fight club, it's one of those places where we facilitate those conversations.
Yes,
where it's like your job is to bring in not just what you're great at, like don't apologize for what you're amazing at, but also like you bring in like, hey, here's what sucks, and we have that conversation. So I think sometimes you need to like pay to get yourself in a vetted room to have those conversations instead of just hoping it magically happens on a water cooler.
Yeah, I mean, it took me a long time to ever get in a hot seat.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I would love to go into masterminds doing stuff, but when you're in the room we're not supposed to talk about, you don't have an option.
Right.
It's, they know everything. You're just being your authentic self, and they just cut through the BS. And it's led to, we've done 2 of them this year, and it's led to probably the best changes within how my organization is structured. Yeah. And I thankfully that I was involved in it.
Yeah. Well, and it's your willingness to grow, learn, and get back that's allowed you to be in those rooms. And you also paid the price to get in those rooms, right?
And, and it does hurt, like when you're there in the hot seat, like you're getting, they're saying stuff, and it's like, it's not personal. It's just, hey, this is 10 really successful people, and they're sitting there telling you like, I've been there, done that. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
Here's what works.
They keep turning around and putting me in the hot seat, which is amazing. By the way, Rick, real quick, we felt it was time to finally give you this. So this is for you. You have to open it up. It is not from Nordstrom. It is from the stockpile of Salmans in the urination closet.
What do we got?
And we just felt like you finally needed your very own Be Your Own Hero t-shirt. So
boom.
there you go. There you go.
Hell yeah.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. All right. Now I feel like I'm on the hot seat.
I'm gonna have to order the muscle shirt size for Tyler.
The fat shirt size.
No, not at all. Tyler, here's my question. You have grown your brokerage really phenomenally with great people, while everybody else has gone back or lost people. What advice would you give to the other brokerage builders out there that maybe are struggling right now, or they're really going through it?
So here in the last, I don't know, we'll just say 12 months, the number one pain point that I'm seeing from agents who interview me, whether they go with me or go somewhere else, is they're really now just looking for a sense of community, right? Like the big shiny objects have already hit, right? They're out there. There hasn't really been any changes. If anything, we've lost some bigger brokerages, but like people have been polarized and went to the shiny objects that offer a cool tech deck or cool splits or maybe even
free
stocks.
Car washes.
But like
pre-IPO.
But what's happening is if they don't have a team lead or a broker that's intentional, or like an upline that is intentional in keeping them engaged, they're just searching for something that they can feel a part of. And I think it correlates to more than just real estate. I think that's why people are coming back into the office. People want to enjoy who they work with. They want to know it. And like Zoom meetings, they're cool, but you get a lot more done when you're in person and you're engaged in conversations. Like yesterday, we had a coffee hour with our agents. I was going over KV Core. That is very robust, but a couple of our agents stayed around and just talked with each other, helped around. A guy was eavesdropping, and the agent picked up a commercial landscaping lead who needs to go buy a lease space for his landscaping company. So like that little community, being out there, meeting with fellow realtors, whether they're inside your brokerage or not, I think is what people are searching for. So if you are doing things with your brokerage and you want to recruit or you want to grow, invite people to test it. Like have people come in, see what you're like, see if you're a match, because it's better, in my opinion, to see if the agent's a match in your culture now than after.
Drop a couple F-bombs. You're still here. We love Jesus, and we drop a couple F-bombs. Like, we are your people.
Because it's a lot. It's stressful, right? You got to change. Sometimes, like, we have so many boards here in North Texas. Luckily I'm part of the biggest, but if you are not. And then, okay, so now I've got a letter of good standing. Now I got to move. Now I got to set up on all this stuff.
Yep.
You get into your first couple brokerage meetings, you're like, I don't really resonate with any of these.
Yeah.
You can cut all that out by just encouraging people to come on and test the waters and meet people.
100%.
Yep.
Well, and I think it's one of the things that like real producers like Lance and Jordan have done such a great job creating community. And that's it. And this is a little nugget for all your brokerage owners out there. And anyone's trying to build a coaching company or anything like that. Someone told me this years ago, and it was so huge. They said, there's 3 reasons why people join and stay in, whether it's your coaching group or whether it's your board, whether it's your brokerage. They said that they usually come for knowledge, right? So they usually come because you're teaching something or you got a cool tech stack. There you go. Yeah, that word. Right. So they come for knowledge. And yet they stay because they want to be seen and because of the community. So yes, you have to keep teaching them, and that part has to be good, right? Like you have to continue to do that. But they stay in the community because they're acknowledged and they feel important. Like I see you, I appreciate you, you're here. Like I love having you part of this, right? Like I see you, you're important, you're validated in that way. And then the community piece. Right. And the community, right. People go, I've talked to so many people that are like, man, I'm part of this coaching group. I don't really like the coach. But I'm staying because of the community.
Yes,
and I'm
because
like, I get it. Right.
the
And they're
tribe.
literally staying in crappy coaching.
Yes.
I won't say who. Right. But like,
It's not Wayne.
It breaks my heart,
No,
but
it's
it
not
kind of makes sense. Yes. I'm like,
Yeah.
we have a good community too. Right. But like, they're so about that.
Well,
Yes.
and what's
Well, and
nice at Hero Nation, so I didn't mean to cut you off, is if you come and you're not like, if me and Wayne weren't a good fit,
Right.
but I loved what they had, he would have just put me with another
Right.
coach.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's
So,
Chris. Here's
There you
Elisa.
go.
Here's Matt.
Well,
Yeah.
And the overarching thing is the tribal aspect.
Yes.
It's we are, we're just hairless apes running around
Yep.
that are tribal, and there is, and it's like I have found this again, learned behavior by way of being in recovery,
Yeah.
where if you actually come in, join the tribe,
Yep.
do what they do, and then now of course the X factor is what is the value that you're getting
Yeah.
out of it, and can
Yeah.
you reciprocate? But when that happens, you can't fight a million years of biology.
Yes.
That shit just works.
Yeah.
And it's incumbent on you and me and everyone to figure out where you fit in. The old get in where you fit
Right,
in.
yeah.
Well, there is truth to that.
Yeah.
And then the thing happens once that clicks.
Yeah.
It all happens organically because again,
Yeah.
you're not going to fight a million years of evolution.
And then it comes back to people like, how do I find a great spouse? It's like become someone that person would be attracted to. And I think one of the interesting things is like, you've got to earn the right. So like this last year,
Just
how
don't ask
many,
me.
but no, for you, like how many huge rooms, EXP executives and real executives, all these, like you've been in all these amazing metrics, all these amazing, experiences with these amazing people because you earn the right to get invited
Yes.
to that room. So I tell my sponsors, my vendors all the time, like I coach a bunch of inspectors and everything else. I'm like, get so good at training, teaching, becoming an influencer that you're invited to speak. You're not paying to be a vendor, right? Like it's so great they invite you.
And it takes a minute to do that.
Absolutely.
And so just to dovetail all this back, and we'll wrap it with the whole thing. I always tell everybody, it's don't quit.
Yeah. Yes.
Because so many people have this preconceived expectation
Yeah.
of what, and then that's where the resistance and the resentment comes from. Because it's like, I think I should get this if I do this, and then when I don't, now I'm mad at everybody. When in reality, it was my skewed perspective that set me off in that direction.
And do the work in private so you're celebrated in public. And I think that's what, like we started the call with Tyler. That's one of the things I love about him, right? Like I'll give him homework. I know it took a lot of work to get it done. And then he brings back, hey, got this done. Hey, I did the spreadsheet. Hey, I did the thing. And then we get to celebrate that. So absolutely.
And I think it all just becomes being consistently present
Yes.
in whatever sphere you want to be in.
Yep.
You just have to constantly show up.
Yeah.
Amen.
And that's how you get invited in.
Suit up and show up.
Absolutely. Yep.
Right
And
on.
if you can't do that, say no. Right? Like any great idea you can't execute well is a bad idea. Right? Which is why I never did a podcast up until I met you. Right? It's because great idea, I wasn't gonna be able to do it well until you came along and here we are doing whatever this is.
Yeah, and I think this is officially we're 41 weeks in.
Ooh,
Wow.
look at that.
Yeah,
It's one of my best relationships so far.
That
I
goes
didn't
deep.
know I had consistency
Yeah,
in me.
I didn't either. There you go.
Yeah.
Wayne just keeps showing up every Friday morning. We got to do
Parting
something.
thoughts. Parting
awesome.
thoughts.
Parting thoughts. Man, I'm excited. Those of you that are in Alaska, here I come. We're going to be up there for 10 days doing a bunch of stuff. The Alaska Real Estate Association, speaking at that, doing a 4-hour workshop. Going to be insane. And then we're off to New York for Broker Boardroom and 30 Under 30, which is going to be crazy. Then we got coaches training when we come back. So it's going to be good. Tyler, parting thoughts.
Parting thoughts. I just appreciate you guys thinking about me, inviting me in. This was a lot of fun. Wayne, so Rick, good. And I've gotten to know Rick here in the last month and a half.
Now he's gonna think I'm stalking him. This is two locations in 2 weeks.
Yeah, there's 2 studios, 2 weeks, and then a lot more to come on that. So we're excited.
Brother. Absolutely.
All right, Peter, take us out.